ऑल राइट। सो कैसे हो सभी लोग? ओके, सो टुडे अगेन वी आर लाइव बैक इन दिस चैनल ऑफ प्रधान एकेडमी। तो आई होप यू आर ऑल डूइंग वंडरफुल। ठीक है, तो आज हम लोग कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग डिस्कस करने वाले हैं। ठीक है, एंड सीक्वेंस सीरीज काफी एक इंपॉर्टेंट चैप्टर होने वाला है। ठीक है, आप अगर प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस उठा के देखोगे या फिर जेई मेंस का प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन उठा के देखोगे, जे एडवांस का भी देखोगे, तो एटलीस्ट 2 से 3 क्वेश्चन तो आप एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हो कि इस पर्टिकुलर चैप्टर से आ सकता है। ठीक है, तो दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड इंटरेस्टिंग चैप्टर। ठीक है, तो आज हम लोग इस पर्टिकुलर चैप्टर के थ्रू देखेंगे कि हाउ आर वी गोइंग टू यूटिलाइज द कॉन्सेप्ट्स एंड उस कॉन्सेप्ट को कैसे हम लोग क्वेश्चंस पे अप्लाई करके हम लोग क्वेश्चंस को सॉल्व करेंगे। ठीक है, तो बेसिकली आज का सेशन काफी इंपॉर्टेंट होने वाला है, स्पेशली फॉर दोज ऑफ पीपल जिनको देखो, सीक्वेंस सीरीज एक ऐसा चैप्टर है जिस जो काफी के लिए डिफिकल्ट चैप्टर भी हो सकता है, काफी के लिए इजी चैप्टर भी हो सकता है, राइट? तो जिनके लिए डिफिकल्ट है उनके लिए आई विल से दैट आफ्टर वॉचिंग दिस सेशन आई डोंट थिंक दैट यू विल हैव एनी डाउट्स और एनी स्टोन अनटर्न। ठीक है, तो बेसिकली चैप्टर काफी इंटरेस्टिंग है, चैप्टर काफी इजी भी है, राइट? अगर एक बार तुम्हें बेसिक्स और कॉन्सेप्ट पता चल गया तो चैप्टर काफी इंटरेस्टिंग होने वाला है। ओके, ऑलराइट। सो बेसिकली हम लोग देखेंगे कि कैसे हम लोग इस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चंस को टैकल करेंगे एंड साथ ही साथ उसके रिगार्डिंग जितना भी क्वेश्चंस हो सकता है आज के सेशन में वो डिस्कस करेंगे। ठीक है, तो सबसे पहले आई होप सबको मेरी आवाज और वीडियो क्लियरली दिख रहा है। ऑलराइट, सो एक बार थम्स अप दे दो ताकि शुरू कर सकते हैं हम लोग क्लास क्लास के साथ। ऑलराइट, सो आई थिंक वी आर गुड टू गो विद द क्लास। ठीक है, तो शुरू करते हैं आज के सेशन के साथ। तो सबसे पहले शुरू करने के साथ साथ मैं कुछ चीजें बताना चाहता हूँ आप लोगों को, दैट इज कि सीक्वेंस सीरीज से आप लोग एटलीस्ट 2 क्वेश्चंस तो एक्सपेक्ट कर ही सकते हो, राइट? 2 क्वेश्चंस तो एटलीस्ट 2 से 3 क्वेश्चन यू कैन डेफिनेटली गारंटी दैट इस चैप्टर से आने वाला है। ओके, सो 2 इज अ सेफ नंबर और 2 to 3 क्वेश्चन। ओके, सो 2 to 3 क्वेश्चन विल बी कमिंग अप फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर चैप्टर एंड उसमें भी 2 से 3 क्वेश्चन में भी एक ऐसा क्वेश्चन होगा दैट इज आइदर वन क्वेश्चन में बी ऑफ प्रोग्रेशन, राइट? प्रोग्रेशन से हो सकता है। ओके, और एक क्वेश्चन तुम्हारा समेशन ऑफ सीक्वेंस से भी हो सकता है, राइट? सम ऑफ सीरीज, सम ऑफ जनरल सीरीज, राइट? जिसमें हम लोग टेलीस्कोपिंग सीरीज भी देखेंगे, जिसमें हम लोग एजीपी सीरीज भी देखेंगे, जिसमें हम लोग डिफरेंट सीरीज को देखेंगे कैसे सॉल्व करते हैं, और अगर जनरल सीरीज आ गया तो कैसे सॉल्व करेंगे यूजिंग द समेशन नोटेशन, राइट? अगर डबल समेशन भी आ गया तो कैसे सॉल्व करेंगे, आज के सेशन में हम लोग सारी चीज डिस्कस करेंगे खुल के। ठीक है, तो सब पहले तो बेसिकली जो लोग नया है चैनल पे लिए, तो आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट ऑल ऑफ यू टू प्लीज hit the subscribe button down there. There will be a red button over there. Please hit the subscribe button and please hit the bell icon so that you don't miss out any upcoming notification of the contents, right? हम लोग हर दिन मिलने वाले हैं इस पर्टिकुलर चैनल पे जहां पर हम लोग डिस्कस करने वाले हैं कि डिफरेंट चैप्टर्स ऑफ योर जेई मेंस एंड along with that we are also going to solve the previous year questions live on this particular channel। ठीक है, तो अगर किसी को कोई भी डाउट है तो डेफिनेटली यू कैन आस्क मी इन द कमेंट लाइव चैट। ओके, एंड ऑल्सो एक खुशी की बात है कि तुम लोग कमेंट सेक्शन डिस्क्रिप्शन से जाके okay please join the telegram group। okay, please join the telegram group। in the telegram group I will be sending you the notes, I will be sending you short notes, I will be sending you mock test and many things, right? so अगर अभी तक telegram group join नहीं किया हो तो please join कर लो। okay, and also we will also discuss the homework solutions of the question that I am giving up in each of the sessions in the telegram group itself। all right, so don't forget to join the telegram group from the description box। all right, so let's get started on this today's discussion. And today our topic is sequence and series, which is a very interesting topic, very important and interesting as well, right? So let's start on our today's questions, right? So today our goal is to basically discuss all the important concepts of sequence and series. Along with that concept, we are also going to see how we use that concept to solve questions of different questions of JEE Mains, right? तो जेई मेंस के क्वेश्चंस को सॉल्व करने सीखेंगे, उसके साथ कोई पैटर्न्स को ऑब्जर्व करने सीखेंगे कि ऐसा टाइप का क्वेश्चंस जनरली जेई मेंस में पूछा जाता है, राइट? सो टुडे आई हैव ब्रॉट द टॉप 10 और इंपॉर्टेंट जेई मेंस क्वेश्चंस एंड through those questions I will be basically telling you how we are going to tackle those questions and basically with those questions how you are going to practice or prepare for your upcoming examination, right? so बने रहिए इस वीडियो के साथ। ओके, तो अगर कुछ क्वेश्चंस और क्वेरीज होगा तो डेफिनेटली यू कैन पुट दैट अप इन द लाइव चैट, राइट? मैं आपका लाइव चैट देखते रहूंगा साथ ही साथ लेक्चर के साथ साथ। ओके, तो शुरू करते हैं आज के सेशन के साथ। तो वेरी फर्स्ट थिंग दैट आई वांट टू डिस्कस इज बेसिकली अ स्मॉल रिकैप ऑफ द कॉन्सेप्ट दैट यू हैव ऑलरेडी स्टडीड इन द चैप्टर ऑफ सीक्वेंस सीरीज। तो मैं आशा करता हूँ कि आप लोग ने एटलीस्ट वन टाइम आप लोग ने बेसिकली चैप्टर को ऑलरेडी पढ़ रखा होगा एंड यू हैव गॉन थ्रू द बेसिक फॉर्मूलाज एंड द कॉन्सेप्ट्स, राइट? So if you haven't watched those like initial things, you can definitely go to the NCERT textbook. You can follow the NCERT textbook, and along with that, you can practice questions from the NCERT exemplar. Okay. Now these two are very important textbooks, especially for JEE Mains as well as JEE Advanced as well. Okay. So these two textbooks are very important for the basics concept. So for basic part, you must follow the NCERT and exemplar questions as well. Right. All right. So शुरू करते हैं आज के सेशन. सबसे पहले basically to understand is that we start with the arithmetic progression, right? But before we start with progression and before we start with sequence or series, let us try to understand what is a sequence is, right? So what is a sequence? Now you must have seen many beautiful objects in the nature which always follow a pattern or a rhythm, right? So everything in this nature is very rhythmic. They're oscillating at a particular interval of time, right? Now if you look at a long time interval, they are going to be mostly rhythmic, and they are mostly going to be oscillatory in nature, right? If you, for example, if I give you the example of the rotation of the earth around the own axis or revolution of the earth around the sun, all of them are very oscillatory nature, right? Or not an oscillatory nature, what I would definitely say that they are basically kind of a rhythmic. They are occurring at a fixed interval of time, right? So whenever a particular thing occur at a fixed interval of time, then we definitely call those things, they are very rhythmic, right? Or they are following a particular pattern. Similarly, sequence is a particular pattern of any quantities that follows certain conditions, right? And of those sequence, arithmetic progression is one of those examples where if you write the corresponding terms such that the difference of the two terms is always a constant. For example, if I take an example of an arithmetic progression, which we also called in short form as A dot P, right? AP. That is basically short form of arithmetic progression, right? So if we see that if we write some terms like 1, 3, 5, 7, 11, 7, 9, 11 and 13 and so on, we see that these all set of numbers that I have written down, these all sequence of numbers that I have written out. Now if I take the difference of these two consecutive terms, if I take the difference of the two consecutive terms, I'm going to get as 2. Similarly, for 3 and 5 is also 2. Similarly, for 5 and 7 is also 2, right? So if we just go on, we'll see that all of the consecutive terms will follow a constant difference, that is 2. So whenever I am writing any sequence such that it is following a particular constant difference in between its two consecutive terms, then we call that particular sequence as a arithmetic progression, right? Now, in order to understand this arithmetic progression, we need to write in terms of a general term, right? So if we try to express the first term of any AP by a letter by A, and we represent the common difference of any AP by D, let me write it over here. So A is our first term, and similarly D is the common difference, right? So if the D is the common difference between the consecutive terms, then we generally write, the general term of an AP as T of R plus 1 is equals to A plus R into D, right? Or if you want to write in terms of, R, general term, R term, then it is basically A plus R minus 1 times of D. Now it is very obvious. You can just look at the sequence over here. So if you just look at the progression over here, you'll find out that this is very similar to that. What you can write, this first term is A, the second term will be A plus D. Similarly, the third term will be A plus 2D. Similarly, the fourth term will be A plus 3D. So what you can see that the terms that I am talking about is basically A plus N minus 1 times the D, right? So for example, if you want to write the T R plus 1 term, that is basically going to be equal to the first term plus R times a common difference, right? Now, once we understand this part easily, then our next task is to basically recap on the topic of, so just let me add one more page over here. So let me add some pages over here. Fine. Now, basically, let me talk in terms of, so if I have any general terms of an AP, so I will pattern myself to use the white color. So from here, we get the general term of an arithmetic progression. So general term of an arithmetic progression will be given as T of r plus 1, which is basically equals to a plus r at times of d, right? Now, now our next task is to understand that now many times you will see that questions are basically going to be on general term, and after you are done with the general term calculation, then the question will be on the summation of all the terms, right? Now there is a very interesting way that was developed lot the year ago. Okay, now this is a very interesting method to discuss the summation. Okay, now I will discuss about that in a short while. That is, for example, if I ask you the sum of 100 natural numbers, right? Now this is a very interesting question that was asked very early times, okay, to one of the in one of the classes. And I would like to all of you to recall the name of the mathematician who answered this question when he was a student. Okay, so this is a very interesting story. If you have come across this particular story, maybe in the NCERT textbook you may find this story as well. Okay, but it's really interesting. Okay, so what is the story is that now there was a student in a class of 30 students. Okay, and and all of the students were given the task of calculating the sum of 1 to 100. Okay, 1 to 100, and they were told to find out this particular summation, right? So all the students who learned the arithmetic of summation, they were doing it by just adding the corresponding terms, right? First they added 1 plus 2, then they whatever they got, then they added one that particular term plus 3, then they so on and went on to do it till 100, right? And that actually consumed a lot of time, right? But there was one of the student who was very interesting, and he was very curious about numbers as well as about the methods. Not only numbers, he was also curious about the methods in order to get to the solution, right? Now they had soon understood that the importance of multiplication in the classes, right? So what the student did is that they write the same sequence, they write the same series, but from the backside, right? So what he did, he started writing from the backside, and 100 plus 99 plus 98 and so on, and he went up to 1, right? So he write the summation two times. Firstly, he went from 1 to 100, and then he went again from 100 to 1. Okay, in opposite way, right? And what did he do? He basically tried to add up these two summation. So what if we add up these two summation? So this is going to be 2s, right? Now, what did he do? He tried to add the terms over there, right? He tried to add these particular terms over there. He tried to add these particular terms like this way, and what he got is that he saw that one particular set of number is repeating 100 number of times, right? So what he observed is that all of this individual summation, when he wrote the terms opposite and he added the corresponding terms in the first row, first, second, and third, and so on, he went on like that. He found out that that particular consecutive term, that particular corresponding term, the summation is basically constant over the series, right? So now it is very easy for you. Now you know that these are basically repeated 100 number of times. So whenever any number you are adding 100 number of times and that particular number is constant, you just simply use the concept of product or multiplication, right? So that is basically become 100 into 101, and our summation S is going to be 100 into 101 divided by 2, which is basically 5050. And that is how he approached the solution for the summation of the first 100 natural number, that is 5050, right? Now, this is a very interesting method that we generally use in order to find the summation of any arithmetic progression. So let us see how we basically use this concept. So, if I have any general arithmetic progression like this, let us say, we have any arithmetic progression like a plus d plus a plus 2d and so on up to nth term. So let us write it as a plus n minus 1 times of d, right? This is basically the nth terms. And similarly, if I write the same sequence in the reverse manner such that it is going to be n minus 1 a plus n minus 1 times of d plus a plus n minus 2 times of d and so on, and up to a, and then if I take the summation of these two sequence, then I'm going to have is 2s is equals to, now this is going to become 2 times of a plus 2 times of a plus n minus 1 times of d plus, and this is also going to become as 2 times of a plus n minus 1 times of d and so on up to last time is also going to become 2 times of a plus n minus 1 times of d, right? So what you can see that whenever we are adding the corresponding terms, again the sum is going to be a constant. again the sum is going to be constant, right? And it is repeated n number of times. So ultimately this is going to give you the answer as of summation of the n number of terms in a AP is going to be n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 times of d, right? So this is going to be the sum of n number of terms in an arithmetic progression. This is going to be the sum of n number of terms in an arithmetic progression, right? Now, once we understand this, we can also write this particular thing as n by 2 into, now I can split there and write it like a plus n minus 1 times of d. So what is this? This is basically the first term and this is going to be the last term, right? So arithmetic, so summation of n terms of an arithmetic progression is basically equal to first term plus the nth term. Is basically equal to the first term plus the nth term. So let me write like this, or the last term, right? So T1 plus Tn, right? This is what the summation of the arithmetic progression looks like. Now, interestingly, you will find out that when you take the summation of the first term and the last term, or when you go on taking the summation of the corresponding terms with the equal partition from the forward and the end. For example, if I take the summation of the first term and the last term, and similarly, if I take the summation of the second term and the second last term, I'm going to have the sum as constant. So you can just check it over here that our first term is basically equal to a, and similarly the last term or the nth term is basically a plus n minus 1 times of d, right? And if I just take the summation t1 plus tn, it is going to be equal to 2a plus n minus 1 times of d, right? And similarly, if you take the second term, and if you add the second last term and you add with the second last term, which is basically n a plus n minus 2 times of d, you are again going to have the summation as constant, right? T2 plus tn minus 2, sorry, tn minus 1, the second last term, right? That is also going to be equal to 2a plus n minus 1 times of d, right? So what you see that if you take the summation of the equally spaced terms from the forward and from the end, you are definitely going to end up with having the result as constant, right? So that is something very interesting, very important. So this will actually help you that when you need to find out for the summation of, when you need to find out or find for the summation of the terms from the forward and the end, you're basically going to end up as a given constant, right? So therefore our sum of the n terms of an arithmetic progression is basically given as n by 2 into the sum of the first term and the last term, or it can also be written as n by 2 into the sum of the second term plus second last term, and it can also be written as n by 2 times of sum of the third term and the third term, or the from the end, that last third term, right? Or second last term, sorry, hey, yeah, second last term, yeah. So that should be n minus 2, right? So this is how you can always write the sum of any general series, right? Thank you, Lifestyle, for your nice and wonderful comments. I hope you are understanding this particular part, right? It really mean a lot to me. Okay. All right. So I hope this part is clear to all of you. Right. Now, once you understand how to find out the general term of an AP and you find out the sum of the n terms of an AP, you are ready to proceed with the question. So I have a question with us. So let me show you the question that I basically have with us. Yeah. So this is a question that I wanted to show up. That is, what if you are given with an AP whose AP's terms are consisting of all the positive integers, right? And it is said that whose sum of the first three terms is 54 and the sum of the first 20 terms lie between 1600 and 1800. Then you have to find the 11th term of that particular AP. So can you suggest what should I use? So I hope you understood the concept that I was discussing about. So please suggest what method should I use to do this question. First of all, if you look at this particular problem, you will find out that the AP will consist of only positive integers, right? So our first term and the common difference will definitely be on the positive integers. So I would write this as Z plus, right? Z plus denotes the set of all positive integers, okay? All right. So Z plus denotes the set of positive integers. Now, now, if you need to find out for the first three terms. So the first sum of the first three terms. So it is said the first three terms. So it is basically a plus d plus a plus 2d, right? The sum of the first three term is going to be equal to 54 as mentioned in the problem, right? Now Now our task is basically to find. So if you just evaluate this, we are going to have it as 3 times of a plus d is basically equal to 54. So from this, I'll have the second term or a plus d as basically 54 by 3. So 54 by 3 is basically nothing but 18, right? So I will have the second term of the AP as 18, right? So instead of finding out the first term and the common difference, we got the second term, right? I will use this particular equation to go for this inequality over here, right? So let us consider this particular equation as equation number 1. All right. Now, now, now it is said that the sum of the first 20 terms, sum of the first 20 terms, right, is basically lies between 1600 to 1800, right? It is said that the sum of the first 20 terms lies between 1600 to 1800. Therefore, the sum of the first 20 terms will be less than 1800 and will be greater than 1600, right? Now, since all the terms of the AP is a positive integer, therefore, the sum of the 20 terms or sum of the n terms of an AP will also be a integer number only, positive integer number only, right? So therefore, I cannot have any value in between 1600 to 800. So I will have those values which are basically integers, right? Now, now from here, if I just apply the formula, so what we know the formula as sum of the 20 terms is basically given as 20 by 2 into 2 times of A plus n minus 1, that is going to be 19 times of D, right? And that is basically my summation S20, which is lying between 1600 and 1800, right? Now, if I try to solve this inequality, I will have it as 10 times of 2a plus 19 times of d is basically between 1800 and 1600, right? And what if I divide by 10? So I will get this part 2a plus 19 times of d is basically lying between 180 and 160, within 160 and 180, right? Now we will take the use of this one of the equation. We'll take the equation of this equation, that is a plus d is equal to 18. Therefore, if I take this as 2 times of, so what I can do it over here is that I can take this particular part. So what I will try to do it over here is that I will try to figure out this d as 18 minus a, right? Now why I am doing this, you will try to understand that, because I know that a and the d are both an integer. So let us try to put that in this particular equation and then we will go for the inequality part, right? So now our task is basically to understand if I put it back in this particular equation, that is, this is going to be, so then if I put a plus d is equal to 18, and from that if I take d is equal to 18 minus a into this inequality, I will have the inequality as 2a plus, and in place of here I will 19 times of 18 minus a, and this particular summation will be in between 160 and 180, right? So from here, if you simplify this part, it is going to be, so this plus 2a plus, and this particular product is going to be 342 minus 19 times of a, right? Minus 19 times of a, which is basically between like this, right? Now you have further simplified this expression, it is going to be minus 17a will be less than, and if I take this on the right hand side, it is going to be 180 minus 342, that is going to be minus of 162, and similarly if I take this on this particular side, that is 160 minus 342, it is going to be 182, right? Then I can simplify and I can take this, if I take the minus sign common, then our sign of inequality will change, then 17a will be less than 182 and will be greater than 162. So from here I'll get a to be lying between. So what if I divide by 17 and then I have to divide by 17? So the a will be lying between 10.7, and if I divide 162 by 7, it is going to be basically near about to 1 or 9 point something. 162 divided by 17 is basically around 9.5, right? So 9.5, right? Now from here I'll get the closest bound on our integer a, right? So if I know that a should be a positive integer and our that integer basically lies between these two numbers, so the only integer the only integer, since a is basically a positive integer, so therefore the only integer that is lying between 9.5 and 10.7 is going to be equal to 10. So from here, I'll have the integer, the first term of the arithmetic progression as equal to 10. Right. Now, if I have the first term as 10 and I know that a plus d is basically equal to 18, so our common difference is equal to 8. Right. So our common difference is basically equal to 8. Right. Now, once we have the common difference and the first term, we can definitely write for its 11th term. So our term 11th term is going to be equal to a plus 10 times of d, and that will basically become 10 plus 80, and that is going to be equal to 90. So with this, I will have option number B as my correct answer. I hope this is clear to all of you. Please let me know if this is clear or not. Very simple, straightforward problem, right? Very simple and straightforward. Please let me know if this is not clear. I will repeat it again. All right. So if you are able to understand this session, don't forget to hit the like button, and also please share it among your friends. Okay. Please tell your friends that we are also live and we are solving questions. Okay. So that your friend can also come and collaborate with us, so that you can also see that how you are preparing and how your friend is preparing. So with that, you can also keep a track on your preparation, right? So we will be solving some of the important JEE Mains question, and with this question, I will be asking you to answer the questions, right? And if you are getting the answer faster than your friend, then you can see that there will be a healthy competition also, right? So please invite your friend, come live with this session and sit with a pen and a paper and try to solve the question that I'm basically discussing, right? You can also prepare a short notes that I will be basically discussing with the concept along with the class, right? So I hope this question is clear to all of you, right? Please let me know a confirmation so that we can move forward with the next concept. We'll discuss all the concepts, all the important things that is basically needed for this particular chapter. Okay. Don't worry if you haven't started preparation till now, or if you haven't covered this chapter till now. With this session, you will get a brief idea on what all topics you need to cover and what all things you need to understand, right? With this session, you will be also understanding that how to solve the questions, even if you're not able to solve it by the given formulas, right? I will give you some of the important tricks to solve the questions. Okay. So stay tuned for that. All right. And if you are new to this particular channel, please hit the subscribe button and please go to the channel. You will find the live session that have been already taken, right? Okay. So we have already covered the coordinate geometry, and yesterday only we started with the quadratic equations and inequalities. So with that, we started with the algebra part, right? Algebra part is very important, especially for your initial level of studies. And even if you're in class 11th and you're following this session, this is going to be really important. Okay. So I hope this part is clear to all of you. Now let us move with the next part. Now let us move with the next conceptual discussion, is that now let us discuss these particular things, that therefore that if I have the sum of the n terms of an AP given as Sn, then any general term of an AP will be simply given out by taking the difference of the sum of the n terms minus the sum of the n minus 1 term, which is very obvious, right? It is obvious for all these general sequence, right? For example, if you have any general sequence, the sum of the n terms minus n minus 1 term is going to give you the nth term. That is very obvious, right? Now, so, and also, if a sum of a series is given as Sn, if a sum of the series is given Sn, and that particular series is a quadratic function of n, and that particular series is a quadratic function of n. Now this is very important. Please try to follow it nicely. Okay, if it is a quadratic function of n, then or if I have the Tn, that is a general term, is a linear function of n, then that particular series is going to be an AP. Okay, so the condition is that if I have the Sn as an as a quadratic term, or if I have the Tn as, or the Tn as a linear function of n, then that particular series is going to be AP. Okay, so many times the question will be given in terms of Sn is equal to some particular quadratic equation, right? So whenever you see that quadratic equation, you have to understand that they are talking about an arithmetic progression. Or if you have the general term or the nth term of an AP coming, or a general term of basically given in terms of a linear function of n, then you will understand that that is basically an AP, right? So this is something very interesting to understand, that is And whenever the general term will be given like a general term Tn is given as an plus b, the series so formed is an AP. The series so formed is an AP, and the common difference will be equal to A. And similarly, if your Sn is given as an square plus bn plus c, and the series is AP, obviously it is a quadratic function of n, so it is going to be an AP, and therefore its common difference is going to be 2A. Its common difference is going to be 2A. Okay. So if you are, please make sure that you write this part in your short notes and revise it every day before you are going for your, and also before you are going for your JEE Mains examination. Okay. These are going to be really, really important. Okay. I hope this part is clear to all of you. Please let me know in the live chat. So whenever you will be seeing some expression of Sn or An like the same way, so from that you can simply calculate the common difference as well as the first term. I hope this is clear to all of you. I hope this part is clear to all of you. Please let me know if this is not clear. I will repeat it again. Alright, so with this, let us try to solve one of the question that has already been asked in the JEE Mains, that is this question, right? So if you just look at this particular problem over here, what you see that any general sequence is given as, so where the general term of any sequence is given as in terms of, now what I said that if a general term of a sequence is given as a linear function of n, then it is an AP. But here, if we look over the general term, it is given as an is equal to n square plus 5n plus 6 divided by 4, right? Which is not a linear term. Instead, it is a quadratic expression, right? It's a quadratic expression in n, right? And it is said that you have to find out Sn as a summation of k goes from 1 to n of 1 up reciprocal of this particular AK term, or AK means the general term of that particular sequence. And it is said that for positive integer n, so n basically belongs to a positive integer. Okay. So if n is belonging to positive integer and you are given the sequence like this of general term, and you have to find out the summation of this particular series or sequence, and from that you have to find out what is the value of this particular expression, right? So how are we going to proceed with this question? Now this question is a really interesting problem. Now this type of question does not come under the category of progression, but you still have to understand how to solve this question. How will we solve this question? Is basically we'll try to figure out that there is one interesting thing that is called the telescoping series. Okay, that is called as a telescoping series. And my dear friend, telescopic series is one of the very interesting topic and very, very important for your JEE Mains. Okay, in JEE Mains question, if you find out the summation of the series, mostly they will be of the telescoping series only. Okay, so for JEE Mains, these are very, very crucial, very, very important. Okay, and I will show you that there are many times this question has been already been asked. Okay, so let us try to understand how we proceed with this question, right? All right, so please let me know if this is clear or not. So let us proceed. Then Then now if I need to find out 1 upon k, so if I need to find out for the summation of Sn as summation goes from k goes from 1 to n 1 upon ak, right? So 1 upon ak, this particular will be written as summation of k goes from 1 to n. This is basically 4 upon n square plus 5n plus 6, right? Now what I will do, I will try to factorize this particular expression over here. So I can write this expression as summation k goes from 1 to n, summation k goes from 1 to n, and it is basically going to be 4 divided by, now this I can factorize it and write it as n plus 2 multiplied with n plus 3, right? Now I will tell you some of the general properties of summation. So whenever if I take summation of any constant part, that is called a summation of constant part, and k varying from 1 to n, it is basically equal to a into n, right? So whenever I have a constant part in a summation, this is a constant part, right? So that constant will come out of the summation, right? And summation of 1 is basically equal to n if k is going from varying from 1 to k n. So if you are adding one term n number of times, it is going to be equal to n. Very simple, right? So if we just try to do the same thing over here, so our term, so from here our Sn is going to be 4 times the summation of k goes from 1 to n 1 upon 1 upon 1 upon n plus 2 into n plus 3 over here, right? Now I will use a very interesting trick over here, is that if you look at this particular summation, our summation, I can split that and I can write in terms of, that is k goes from 1 to n, and I can write in terms of n plus 3 minus n plus 2 divided by n plus 2 into n plus 3, right? Now, if you just look at this particular expression over here, I have done nothing, but I have written 1 in terms of n plus 3 minus n plus 2, right? So if you do this summation, you are going to get this 1, right? So if you're going to do this operation over here, you will definitely get the expression as equal to 1, right? So I have written 1 in terms of n plus 3 minus n plus 2, right? What is the advantage of doing that is that I am able to separate this term, this product term, this particular expression. I am able to separate this particular expression in terms of differences of two quantity, right? And this is called as a method of difference. Okay, this is called as a method of difference, where we are basically trying to separate a product or expression into difference of the two consecutive terms, okay, of consecutive terms, where I am trying to separate a expression in terms of the subtraction of two consecutive terms, right? Of two consecutive terms. So from here, what we can see, we can write the same general expression. Sn is basically equal to 4 times the k goes from 1 to n, and it is going to be 1 upon n plus 2 minus 1 upon n plus 3, right? Now, why did I do this? Then you will see a very big advantage is that now this is called as a telescoping series. Why telescoping series? I will tell you. So I can write this expression as 4 into, now if I put k is equal to 1, so over here I should put k, right? I was putting n over here, so please pardon me. So or I can change this variable to n is equal to 1 as well. Like that won't matter. That won't matter unless the variable quantity you are writing the same thing. Okay, n is equal to 1 to n, and it is also, but since should not we write the same expression like n 1 to n, but okay, it's okay, fine. So if n is varying from 1 to n, if n is varying from 1 to n, so over here, the advantage we will have, so if I put n is equal to 1, I will see that this particular term is 1 upon 3 minus 1 upon 4 is my first term. Plus second term is going to be, so if I put n is equal to 2, it is going to be 1 by 4 plus 1 by 5. Similarly, if I put n is equal to 3, it is going to be 1 upon 5 by 1 upon 6, and so on till n is, if I put n is equal to n, I will get it as 1 upon n plus 2 minus 1 upon n plus 3, right? That is my last term. The advantage is that what you see that if you take the summation of all these terms, you are seeing that the consecutive terms are getting cancelled out. You are seeing the consecutive terms will get cancelled out, right? So what you can see over here, the consecutive terms are getting cancelled out, and the cancellation fashion is basically the last term of the first term, the last term of the first expression is getting cancelled out with the first term of the second consecutive expression, right? So therefore you can see that ultimately this particular term will get cancelled out, and you are left out with this particular term and this particular term. So if you just do the consecutive sequence and take the summation of the entire thing, you will find out your answer is basically 4 times 1 upon 3 by minus 1 upon n plus 3, right? So from this, we can definitely write our answer, that is Sn is basically equal to, so this particular part is going to be 3 into n plus 3, and this is going to be 4n. So from here, you will get the summation of Sn, you will get the summation of Sn as 4n divided by 3 into n plus 3. 4n divided by 3 into n plus 3, right? So from this part, if you put the value of n is equal to 25, sorry, n is equal to 2025, n is equal to 2025, you will get S2025 as 4 into 2025 divided by 3 into 2028, and then you have to multiply it with 5027 to get the required summation, right? So if you just try to do that part, over here, so you are going to left out. So if you can definitely do this solution by yourself, right? So 2025 is basically cancel out with 3, right? It is basically equal to 6, 6 times 18 minus 4. Can you check that this is getting cancelled out or not? Right, 675, right, 675, and then this particular term will also get a cancel out by 4. This is going to be 507, right, 507, and this 507 and 507 get cancel out. So ultimately, you are left out with the answer as 675, which is our option number B from this particular question, right? So these types of questions are really interesting, where you are basically expressing a particular expression as a method of difference, right? Where you are basically approaching the expression into the subtraction of two consecutive terms of a sequence, right? And when you do that consecutive terms, you find out that particular series is converging towards a particular constant value, right? And when this particular n tends to infinity, then the only summation is basically 4 upon 3. right? If this n tends to infinity, or if I take the infinite sum of this particular series, right, instead of taking k going from 1 to n, if I take k going from 1 to infinity, then this particular term will vanish towards 0. Then this particular term will vanish towards 0. If I take it to infinity, then this particular term will vanish towards 0 when n tending to infinity, right? So if I have this same sequence asked in a different way, that if I had to take for the summation of the sequence such that our n is tending towards infinity, then we are going to approach the solution in this way, right? I hope this part is clear to all of you. So from this part, we are going to approach the solution of our questions in this following manner, right? Please let me know if you have any questions. So I hope this part is clear to all of you. I hope this part is clear to all of you, right? And one of an interesting news I want to discuss among all of the students is that if you want to get personalized one-to-one interaction, or if you want to get group-wise tuition, you can definitely contact in the underside contact number in the description box. Okay, so if you go to the description of this particular video, you will find the contact details and you will get a chance to discuss and come live with me, and we are going to discuss some of your personal doubts. Okay, so for personalized doubt clearing, you can definitely visit and contact the undersigned number over there, right? I hope you understand that. So, and these sessions are going to be really for free on YouTube. You can definitely watch these sessions at your own time. And if you're watching it live, it will be very useful that you can also ask me live questions, right? And also we can discuss about the different types of questions and how we can solve a same problem in a different manner. That will actually help you to have a solid basic understanding. And once you have a basic understanding, a solid basic understanding, your concepts, you can crack any types of questions, be it of advanced, be it of mains. I hope this is clear to all of you. Please let me know if this is clear or not. Please let me know if this is clear or not. We'll proceed with the next problems then. I hope this part is clear to all of you. I hope this part is clear to all of you. Right. And don't forget to attend the other sessions that we are also having live on this particular channel. So today at 8 p.m. we will be having this class on chemistry on the topic of chemical kinetics. Okay. So please don't forget to attend those session live. Okay, to revise for your upcoming JEE Mains for the portion of chemical kinetics for your chemistry. Okay, because if you know that if you in order to crack JEE Mains, you have to get a very solid understanding of all the three subjects together. Okay, so it is very useful to understand the three topics simultaneously in order to do well for your JEE Mains, right? It's not like that if you understand maths, you are getting interested in mathematics, so you are only studying maths only. That won't actually help. In order to score well, or in order to get the highest marks, or in order to get a good rank, you have to equally balance all the three subjects together in order to get a good score. I hope this is clear, right? With this, let us proceed with the concepts. So the concepts then I was talking about is that now let us try to recall some of the important properties that if a finite arithmetic progression is there and the number of terms is basically odd. If I have the number of terms as odd, then its middle term of an arithmetic mean. So AM stands for arithmetic mean, right? Between the first term and the last term and its sum is equal to the product of the middle term and the number of terms. So if you have the middle term and you multiply with the number of terms, you are going to get the arithmetic mean, right? Whenever the number of terms is odd, the arithmetic term is the middle term. And how to find the middle term? Middle term is simply found out as, so if you have n number of terms and while n is odd, so n plus 1 by 2 will definitely give you the middle term, right? And when the number of terms is even, the number of middle term is going to be 2. That is, one of the middle term is n minus 1 by 2, and one of the middle term is going to be n plus n by 2, and other middle term is going to be n plus 2 by 2, right? So when the number of terms of an arithmetic progression are even, then you have two middle terms, and if the number of terms of an arithmetic progressions are odd, you will have only one middle term, right? And in between the first and the last term, if I need to find out that arithmetic mean, then that is basically equal to the arithmetic mean of the middle term, right? And its summation is equal to the product of the middle term into the number of terms. I hope this is clear. So very simple. This is basically the concept of average. Okay. So what is average? So if I need to find out average of any quantity, it is basically the summation of all the terms up to n terms and divided by the number of terms, right? That will give you the arithmetic mean or the arithmetic average, right? This will be called as the arithmetic mean. Sorry for the spelling. Um, all right. So if I need to talk about the arithmetic mean, if I need to talk about now, means can be of many types, right? You can find means in terms of geometric means. You can find mean by taking the summation, and that mean is called arithmetic mean. If you take the mean by taking the product and dividing by the number of terms, or taking the square root of 1 upon n, or to the power of 1 upon n, then that is basically geometric mean. Similarly, you can take add summation of the reciprocal terms, and that is called the harmonic mean, right? So if we talk about the arithmetic mean, then it is nothing. So for the odd number of terms, the middle term is going to be the arithmetic mean, right? So if you add the arithmetic mean into number of terms that is present in the AP, is basically going to give you the summation of all the terms of an AP, right? So that is what is mentioned in the first property over here. And similarly, the second property is talking about if it is found the sum of the infinite terms of an AP is infinity, then D should be greater than 0. Or if it is found as minus of infinity, then D should be negative, right? If you have the summation of the terms of an AP is converging towards infinity, right? That is, it's not converging. You should not tell in terms of converging or diverging. I will tell you what is converging and diverging. Rather, if you are not having a finite sum, that is, if you are taking the sum of the infinite terms and you are having it converging out, right, that is going to infinity, then our difference or the common difference is basically greater than 0. That is, it should be positive. If I having a negative common difference with the positive terms, then the terms are going to decrease, right? And therefore you will have the summation going to infinity, minus infinity, right? And if you're having the common difference positive, then only the summation of all the infinite terms will go towards infinity, right? This particular question, this concept is clear to all of you. This very simple concept, okay? Yeah, hi Lonex, I hope you are doing good. Good morning, Lonex. Good morning, Lonex. Thank you for joining the session live. So I hope you are understanding the session. Okay. You can definitely comment of any questions you are having. I hope the so far concepts that been discussed is clear to all of you. Please let me know. If something is not clear, you can tell me. I will repeat it again. Okay. I will try my best to explain you. Alright, so this is clear to all of you. Now, if for an AP, if the Pth term is Q and the Qth term is P, then the Mth term is basically P plus Q plus minus M. Okay, P plus Q minus N. Okay, and if for an AP, the sum of the P terms is Q and the sum of the Q terms is P, then the sum of the P plus Q term is basically minus of P plus Q. Now, this is a very interesting question that you will see that many times these kinds of basic questions are also coming up in your JEE Mains as well, right? So if you look for the basic questions of JEE Mains, you will also find out these types of questions, right? That the sum of the P terms is given, sum of the Q terms is given, and to find out the sum of the P plus Q, right? Very interesting problem. Just simply if you recall this property, you can directly mark the question in 1 second, right? That is the advantage of discussing the properties, right? Then we have, if for an AP, if the sum of the P terms is equal to the sum of the Q terms, then the sum of the P plus Q term is basically equal to 0. Very simple, you can prove it very easily, right? Similarly, if for a different AP, if I have now this is very, very important, okay? Please focus, this is very, very important, very, very important. These two properties are very, very important. I will show you questions that has been already asked, okay? So if for different AP, if I have the ratio of the sum of the two different AP, the ratio of the sum of the n terms of two different AP as f of n by phi of n, then the sum of the general term of the two different AP is basically function of 2n minus 1 by that phi of 2n minus 1. So that particular function of n and that particular function of phi, or in terms of n, you just need to change the n as 2n minus 1, and that will give you the ratio of the general term up to n and general term of the two given arithmetic progressions, right? And if for the two arithmetic progression, the ratio of the general term or the nth term is given as an plus b divided by cn plus d, then the ratio of the summation of the two different APs, the summation of the nth term of the two different APs is simply given as a times the, so it is simply, so you just need to express, this 2n minus 1 in times of n dash, so that is basically n dash plus 1 divided by 2. That is what you're going to put in place of n over here. So just replace n with n plus 1 by 2 plus b divided by c into n plus 1 by 2 plus d. That is what you have to do. You just need to express either n in terms of 2n minus 1 or 2n minus 1 in terms of n. That is what you do, right? So if the summation is given, then to find out the ratio of the term, you have to put n 2n minus 1. And if the ratio of the terms is given, in order to find for the summation of the term or the ratio of the summation of the nth term, you have to put in terms of n as n plus 1 upon 2. n plus 1 upon 2. As simple as that. I hope this is clear to all of you. I hope this is clear to all of you. Please let me know in the comments if it is not clear. Right, and you can definitely see questions coming out from this particular concept. Okay, so let me see if I have any questions or not. So on this particular concept, if I have any questions, I will discuss. Okay, all right, so let us try to solve this particular sequence question. Okay, and this is also interesting sequence question. I will tell you that not every time you will see that generally the arithmetic mean or arithmetic progression or geometric progression are mostly asked. Rather, sometimes the question will be also asked in terms of the given sequence, right? So in order to solve for this question, let us try to understand how we will solve a general sequence question. Okay, so if it is given that an denotes the sequence such that whose zeroth term is given as 0 and the first term of that particular sequence is given as 1 upon 2, and it is also mentioned by the recurrence relation as 2 times of n a of n plus 2 is basically given as 5 times a of n plus 1 minus 3 times a of n, 3 times a of n, where n is basically going from 1, 2 and 3 and so on, right? So if I put n is equal to 0, so if I put n is equal to 0, I'll get 2 times of a2 is basically equal to 5 times of a1 minus 3 times of a0, and from here I'll get the 2 times of a2 as 5 by 2, and from here I will get a2 as 5 upon 4, right? And similarly, if I have a2, I can find out a3, and if I have a3, I can find out a4. So that is kind of a recurrence relation that is mentioned, right? So this kind of relation is called as recursion relation, where if you know one term, you can find out recursive relation. Okay, where you know one term, you can always find for the other terms, right, up to n. This kind of relation is called as recursive relation, okay, or recursive functions. Okay, and if you're someone from the computer science background, you know how to code in terms of recursion function, right? Sometimes instead of running a loop, it is also very advisable to solve the question in terms of writing a recursive function. That will also help you to solve the question or the code in a lot easier step, right? Because when you're writing a function, it is a single code process which is going from 1 to n. But if you're writing a recursion relation, it is kind of putting the function into one and it is going in a loop, right? Instead of writing a loop, it is going on a function. So that will call the function n number of times only, right? That will be sometimes very easy for some questions, but the writing the loop is difficult. Okay, and sometimes recursion function or recursion relation or writing the recursion relation code is sometimes difficult. So in that particular case, we go for loop, right? But the disadvantage of for loop is that it is a single code process, whereas recursion, it is not a loop, it is a function. We are calling the function multiple times, right? I hope this is clear. And we are calling a function multiple times unless a particular condition is met, right? So sometimes it is very useful. Sometimes the for loop is also important. Okay. So students who are basically preparing for their computer science paper also, they can try to take help from this particular sessions also, right? So I hope this is clear to all of you, right? Right. Now let us not forget what the question is talking about. So let us try to move to the question. So it is asking that once you find out the summation, the all the terms up to 100, you have to find out the sum of all the terms up to 100. Right. How we will go about with this, right? So let us try to understand how we try to solve for this particular problem, right? So if you look at this particular problem, what we see over here is that the so if you try to express this 2n plus 2 minus 5n plus 1 plus 3 of n is equal to 0. Now, if you recall from the Newton's theorem that we had discussed in the previous session, so if you are not watching the previous session, then something might be difficult to all of you, right? So if you just recall the Newton's theorem, the Newton's formula that we discussed in the roots and the relation of the roots and the summation, right? Newton's formula, that is, if I have any expression like ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, and if I have the Sn as given as alpha to the power n minus beta to the power n, then I have S of n plus 2 plus B of S of n plus 1 plus C of S of n is equal to 0, which is by the Newton's formula. So similarly, we're also going to use the same theorem over here. So if something is given in terms of like this, where an plus 2, an plus 1 and an is repeating like this fashion, right? So I can change it in terms of a quadratic expression like 2x square minus 5x plus 3 is equal to 0, right? Over here, right, like this, right? Now advantage of doing like this is that I can find out the roots for this x over here. So our x is basically either 1 or either 3 by 2, right? So if I put our an, so if I put from here, if an is basically equals to, so if I just put for, I just solved for this particular term is equal to 0 and I got the value of x, right? So what is x? X is basically an plus 1, right? So an plus 1. So from here I will get an as minus 1 plus 3 by 2 times of n. right? Minus 1 plus 3 by 2 times of n, right? Now how I am getting it? I am just doing a simple operation, that is I am trying to write this our nth term. So if this relation exists, I am trying to write the nth term in terms of alpha to the power n plus or minus beta to the power n, right? I am trying to express this particular Sn as like this, right? So instead of writing Sn, I am just trying to put it over here as n, a of n, right? So from this part, I can write our expression. So if I just now I have two expression, right? That is n is equal to 0, our a is equal to 0, and if I have n is equal to 1, our a1 is basically equal to 1 upon 2. So if I just put it, I'll get an as minus 1 to the power minus 1 plus 3 by 2 to the power n, minus 1 plus 3 by 2 to the power n. I hope this is clear, right? So I'm just simply taking help of the previous class expression, right? So if I have an expression like Sn, which is alpha to the power n plus minus beta to the power n, then I can write that quadratic equation in terms of the summation. And similarly, if I have the summation like this, where these are the terms, then I can go back to the quadratic equation, I can solve for the roots. And once I get the roots, I can find this expression in terms of like this, right? I hope this is clear to all of you. So it is the reverse of the Newton's formula. So this question is going to be very, very important. Please mark this question very important, because it is the reverse of the Newton's formula. If you look at the general JEE Mains previous year question, you will see the Newton's formula has been repeated lot of number of times, right? Therefore, this question is going to be really important for your sequence and series part, right? Therefore, from here, if you need to find out for the summation of an or ak, where k is going from 1 to 100, right? It is going to be simply minus 1 plus 3 by 2 to the power 3 by 2 to the power k, where k is varying from 1 to 100, right? So which is going to give me the summation as, so our summation or the sum of the nth term of that particular sequence is basically going to be equal to minus of 100 plus 3 by 2. Now this is going to be equal to an GP, right? So GP with a common ratio 3 by 2, right? So there is going to be 3 by 2 to the power 100 minus 1 divided by r minus 1, right? That is going to be equal to 1 upon 3, right? Or you can write like this, 3 by 2 minus 1 into a over here. So that is going to generate me the answer as minus 100 plus 3 times of 3 by 2 to the power 100 minus 1, right? Which is going to be the expression, and it is mentioned as, so if I just look into the expression, that is 3 by 2 to the power 100 minus 1, it is nothing but it is going to be the a of 100 terms, right? So therefore, this summation of the ak up to 100 times, this can also be given as 3 times of a 100 minus 100, 3 times of a 100 minus 100, right? Which is mentioned in the option number B as our given answer. So our answer to this particular problem is going to be option number B. Very, very important, very, very crucial. Okay, please mark this as an important problem. Okay, please mark this problem as important. This is going to be very, very crucial. This is going to be very, very crucial. Okay, I hope this part is clear to all of you. I hope this part is clear to all of you, right? Please let me know if something is not clear. Okay, so I'm going through your live chats. So you can definitely let me know if something is not clear. So this is very, very important. Okay. All right. So proceeding further. So if this is clear, can we proceed to the next question? So next question is on our screen. Now this is going to be a very simple problem, just considering the arithmetic progression. Please try to solve this problem. Please give some time and try to solve this problem. You will definitely get to the answer. Solve this problem and tell me the answer you are having. Please try to solve this problem. This is going to be very simple. This problem is going to be very, very simple. Okay, because you know the concept now, so you can easily solve for the given question. Okay, so please let me know the answer you are having. Hi Vinesh. Hi Vinesh, how are you doing? I hope you are able to understand the concepts discussed in the session. Okay, try to solve this problem, Vinesh, and tell me the answer you are having. So this question is an interesting problem, that instead of telling you the value of m, it is said that you have to find out the m from the given mth term of an arithmetic progression, right? So if you just look into the arithmetic progression given over here, So if you just look into the arithmetic progression given over here, so if you just look at the arithmetic progression, it is said that T of R be the rth term of any AP, right? So let us first of all assume some two of the important quantities, that for an AP, A is the first term and our common difference is given as D, right? So if I need to represent any of the rth term, so if I need to represent any of the rth term, I can easily write it as A plus R minus 1 times of D, right? So from here, for some M, I can write this T of M as A plus M minus 1 times of D, which is mentioned in the problem as 1 upon 25. So from this I will have one equation, right? Similarly, I have one more equation that is given as T of 25 is basically given as A plus 24 times of D, which is mentioned as 1 upon 20, right? Now how will I solve for the unknown value M? So M is unknown, so this is one more equation, right? Now one more information is given as 20 times the summation of R going from 1 to 25, the summation of the terms from 1 to 25 is basically given as 13. So from this you can simplify. So you know the sum of the first 25 terms of the arithmetic progression is given by 25 upon 2 into 2a plus 24 times of d is basically given as 13 upon 20, right? 13 upon 20 as mentioned in the problem, right? Now what I'm going to do it over here is that I know the value of a plus 24. So I'm just going to split this part as, so I am going to split this part as a plus the 25th term, the first term plus the last term, the first term plus the last term, right, is equals to 13 by 10 divided by 1 upon 25, right, which will generate me the answer as, so I know the first term as a and the 25th term as basically 1 upon 20, which is basically going to give me is equals to 13 upon 250. So if I just try to simplify our a from here, it is going to be 13 upon 250 minus 1 upon 20, right? So tell me what you are getting from here. So the first term, is going to be equal to, so the first term is going to be equal to 1 upon 500. So the first term is going to be equal to 1 upon 500. Please let me know if you are having or not, if you are having this answer or not. The first term that I will have from here is 1 upon 500. The first term upon we have it is 1 upon 500, right? I hope this is clear. Are you getting the same? Are we on the same note? Yes, Vinesh. A1 plus A25, the sum of the terms, diet formula. Exactly, exactly. Very good, Vinesh. So proceed with the problem, Vinesh, and tell me the option you are having as answer. Very good, Vinesh. 1 upon 500. Excellent. Excellent. So therefore, from there, we have the mth term as a plus m minus 1 times of the common difference is equals to 1 upon 25, right? Yes, exactly. So once you get about the first term, so from there you can find the common difference, right? Tell me what the common difference you are having, Vinesh. Vinesh, tell me the common difference. So the common difference I will have is as 1 by 20 minus 1 by 500 whole divided by 1 by 24, right? 1 into 1 upon 24 or divided by 24, right? So from this part I'll get the common difference. So tell me, Vinesh, what you're having as the common difference. So the common difference from here I get as, so common difference is also coming out as 1 upon 500. So the common difference is also coming out as 1 upon 500, right? So the common difference is also coming out as 1 upon 500, right? Now once you have the expression for common difference in the first term, once you have the common difference in the first term, you can find the value of m from here. So it is going to be 1 upon 500 plus, so I can take 1 upon 500 is common, and it is going to be 1 plus m minus 1, and that is going to be 1 upon 25. So from here this minus 1 and plus 1 get cancelled out. So I will have the value of m as equal to 20. So I will have the value of m as 20, right? Now I have to find for the sum of the terms going from 20 to, so I have to find the sum of the terms going from 20 to 40 of this particular expression and multiply with 100, right? So if I just try to find out this particular expression, so the expression I need to find out is 5m summation going from m to 2m, right? Summation of r going from m to 2n and t of r, right? So this I can simplify it as simple as s of 2m minus s of m, that is the summation of the first 2m the terms of the AP minus the summation of the first m terms of the AP, and then I have to multiply just with 5 into m, which is basically 100. So our result is going to be 100 multiplied with sum of the first 2m minus sum of the first m terms, right? So sum of the first 2m terms is going to be equal to so 2m basically 40, right? So 40 by 2 into the first term and the last term. So first term is going to be 1 over 500 and the last term, that is a 40th term. So I just need to find out a40, right? Which is going to be 1 upon 500 plus 39 upon 500, right? Which is going to be 40 upon 500, right? So it is going to be 41 upon 500 as the summation of this part, right? And then minus, oh, very sorry. So from here, I'll have s of 2m as 40 upon 2 into 41 upon 500, and similarly s of m as 20 upon 2 multiplied with 1 upon 500 plus the 20th term, and the 20th term is basically 1 upon 25, right? Which I can also write as, so it is going to be 20 by 2 into 21 upon 500, right? So once I have the sm and once I have s of 2m, I need to find out the expression, that is 5m times r going from m to 2m t of r, which is basically s of 2m minus s of m multiplied with 5 upon m, right? And that is going to give me the answer as 100 multiplied with, that this is going to be equal to 20 into 41 by 100 by 500 minus is going to be, this is going to be simply as 21 into 10 divided by 500, right? So from this 500 and this 100 will get cancelled out and we are left with 5 only, right? So ultimately the answer to this particular problem here will be having as 126 is the required answer for this given expression. So ultimately your option number, yes, exactly, right? So from this you will have option number B as your correct answer. Are you getting it, Vinesh? Are you getting? Yes, no, 112 is not the correct answer. 126. Okay, 126 is the correct answer. Option number B is going to be the correct answer. Please recheck your calculation. Recheck the calculation, Vinesh. Please check the calculation again. You will find it as this only. Okay. 126 is what I am getting. 126 is what I am getting. Okay. Please recheck the calculation again, Vinesh. It is very simple, right? From here. Okay. It will be 126. Okay. Yes, Vinesh, correct. Got it. Very good. Very good. So, Vinesh, don't be in a hurry. Okay. Maybe sometime because of hurry you get a wrong answer and you see that the wrong answer option is also present in the answer, right? So if you just mark option number C, you are going to get minus of 1, right? So please don't be hurry. Okay. So if you are going to mark the correct answer, then only you are going to get plus 4. Otherwise, you are going to end up getting minus 1. So getting minus 1 is equivalent to getting minus 5. Okay. If you know that, if you know the solve the question, if you know how to solve the question, but still you're getting the wrong answer, that is equivalent to minus 5 exactly. Okay. That you are losing the plus 4 and instead of that, you're also getting minus 1. So that is minus 5. Okay. So I hope this is clear to all of you. Is it clear to all of you? Please let me know. Please share these lectures or videos with your friends as well, okay? So that your friend can also collaborate with these sessions and they can also take the help of these live lectures, right? These are going to be very useful for your upcoming JEE Mains preparation for your different concepts, okay? This is going to be very, very useful. Please let me know if this is clear or not. We'll proceed with the next question. Very good, Vinesh. Let us start with the next question then. Okay, again, very simple problem. We have an arithmetic progression whose first 40th term summation is given as 1030. First 12th term arithmetic progression summation is given as 57. You just need to find for the difference of the S30 minus S10. Please go for it. Please go for this question, Vinesh. Everyone, please go for this question. Very simple problem. I'm expecting 2 minutes time. Okay, so I'm giving you 2 minute time. Take 2 minutes time and get the correct answer. Take 2 minutes time and get the correct answer. Yeah. Yes, go for it. Go for it. Everyone, try this question. Try to solve this question. What do you mean not enough? Vinesh, what do you mean not enough? If you are talking about the question is not enough for you, don't worry, my friend. You will have lot of different questions coming up. Okay. This is the easy question that I also want to show you, all of you, that sometimes easy questions are also asked. Okay. Directly just need to apply the formula and you get the answer. Okay. Now it's up to you how will you get for this answer. Okay. Now there are a lot of ways to solve for this question. Okay. Okay, not enough time. All right, take 5 minutes. No issue. Take 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes for this question. Okay, Venus, take 5 minutes. Don't worry. You take 5 minutes. I think the actually the thing is that the life is like something lagging between the time. Okay, that is something of YouTube server. Okay, the messages I'm getting is something like a time lag of some kind of time lag is there, right? Go for it. Okay, go for it. You take your time and solve for it. Okay, so let me start discussing how to solve this question. So if you have started solving the question, that is very good. But if you are not getting it, how to solve this question, let me tell you. So you are given the sum of the first 40th term, which is mentioned as 1030, right? And you are also given as the sum of the first 12 term as 57, right? So from these two equations, you can always find the first term and the common difference, right? So for any general AP, for any general arithmetic progression, the two things are very important. That is the first term that is given as A and the common difference right? So if you have two equations and two unknown, you can definitely solve for these two unknowns, right? And then you have to find out, S30 minus S10, right? So S30 minus S10 is going to be equal to, so what I can write S30 minus S10 as 30 by 2 into A plus A plus 29 times of D, or rather write it as complete. So this is going to 2A plus 29 times of D minus 10 upon 2 into 2A plus 9 times of D, right? And if you simplify it further, you're going to get 15 times of 2A plus 29 times of D minus 5 times of 2A plus 9 times of D, right? So if you just try to simplify this part, you will get this as, okay, this part you will get it as, so 30 minus 10 is going to 20 times of A and minus sorry, plus of, so you will have 15 times of 29, that is going to be equal to, so 450 minus 15 is going to be 435, right? So 435 minus 45D, right? That is going to be equal to 390D. So you just need to find out this particular expression, that is S30 minus S10 is going to be equal to 2A plus 390 times of D. So once you get at A and D, you can solve for it, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to subtract this first, the second and the first, right? So the first expression that I have is as 20 times of 2a plus 39 times of d is basically equal to 1030, and this is going to be 6 times of 2a plus 11 times of d is going to be equal to 57, right? So we just try to take the difference. Okay, so you have two equations, two unknown, just two equation, two unknown problems, right? Very simple to solve. So if you just try to solve this, you'll get the value of the first term as minus of 3 by 2. You'll get the first term as minus of 3 by 2, and you will get the common difference as, sorry, my first term as minus 7 by 2, and the common difference you will have it as 3 by 2, right? Are you getting the same, Vignesh? No, Vignesh, the answer is 550. The answer is option number D, 550. Okay, option number D is the correct answer. Okay, so you get the value of A as minus 7 by 2 and D as 3 by 2. So if you just put it back into this equation, you'll get it as minus 70 plus uh, 390 into 7 into 3 by 2, right? 390 into 3 by 2. So that is going to be the answer. The answer is going to be equal to 515. 515 is going to be the answer. Okay. Yes, exactly, Vinesh. Correct, Vinesh. 515 is the correct answer. So the answer to this particular problem is going to be 515. Very good. Excellent, Vinesh. Excellent. Again and again, I'm saying, please don't be in a hurry. Okay. Even if you take more than a given time, but if you're getting the correct answer, that will show you that you are more accurate. And I want accuracy over speed. Speed will develop with time. Okay. Don't worry. Speed will develop with time. I hope this is clear to you. I hope this is clear to you. So shall we proceed to the next problem? Shall we proceed with the next problem? Vinesh, you can also suggest your friends to join the session as well. Okay. Maybe if your friends also come, and then you can have a good competition also. Who gives the answer faster, right? And these sessions are just available for free on YouTube. You don't have to pay any penny. Okay. So let us proceed to the next problem. So next problem is an interesting problem, right? So we are given a very interesting expression, that is 7. 7 is equals to 7 is equals to 5 plus 1 by 7 times of 5 plus alpha plus 1 by 7 square plus 5 plus 2 alpha, and so on up to infinity, right? So what do you understand from this question? So if you just look into the problem, you will try to understand that it is given that 7 is equal to 5 plus something, right? So 5 plus something, that this something should be equal to 2. Then only I will have this left hand side equal, right? So therefore the sum of this given expression, let us call it S infinity, that is basically 1 upon 7 times of 5 plus alpha plus 1 upon 7 square into 5 plus 2 alpha plus 1 upon 7 cube into 5 plus 3 alpha, and up to infinity is going to be equal to 2. So this S infinity sum is equal to 2. It must be equal to in order to satisfy this particular equation, right? So now if you just look into this particular expression, what you see that it is nothing but an arithmetic geometric mean. It is the combination of an arithmetic and a geometric mean. What is an arithmetic mean over here? If you look at the numerator, the 5 plus alpha, 5 plus 2 alpha, 5 plus 3 alpha, these are the arithmetic progression terms, right? And 1 upon 7, 1 upon 7 square, 1 upon 7 cube, and so on is in GP, right? This part is in GP. Now, I hope you know what is GP. So GP basically stands for geometric progression. So it is a progression whose consecutive terms, ratio of the consecutive terms are basically constant. Whose ratio of the consecutive terms are basically constant. Now, I can combine a arithmetic term and a geometric term to make it a arithmetic geometric progression, right? And if you know the concept behind how to solve the arithmetic geometric progression, I would request please proceed to the problem. Exactly, finish. That is arithmetic geometric progression, AGP. Very good. Proceed with the problem, Vinesh. I hope you know how to solve the arithmetic geometric progression questions. Try to solve this question. Try to solve this question, Vinesh. Go for this question. So, and if you don't know how to solve arithmetic geometric progression, I will give you a small recap. I hope you have copied the question, Vinesh. Okay. So then if you need to find out the sum of an arithmetic geometric progression for n number of terms, what I'm basically, I will tell you about the n number of terms, and then I will go for telling if the n tends to infinity, then how we'll solve for it, right? So if I have to find out the arithmetic geometric progression for n number of terms, so generally what we do, so if it's the first term, second term, and third term up to so on up to the n terms, what we do is generally is that we try to find out the common difference. We try to find out the common ratio. We try to find out the common ratio of the geometric progression. Okay, so let us say that the geometric progression involved in the arithmetic geometric progression, the geometric progression part is having the common ratio as r. Let us say they're having the common ratio as r. Then what we do, we try to multiply the summation as r, and we shift and write the answer with one digit, right? So the answer is going to be r times the t1 plus r times the t2 and so on, and we write it as r times the tn plus tn minus 1 and r times the tn, right? Okay, let me check. So the answer for this arithmetic geometric progression or for alpha exactly is equal to 6. Very good, Vinesh. You are correct. Plus 4 to you, Vinesh. The answer to this particular problem is going to be 6. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. You are very correct. Congratulations, Vinesh. Okay, you got plus 4. Very good. So let us see how we solve for it. So similarly, then what we do, we take the subtraction of this summation, right? So it is going to be Sn divided by multiplied with 1 minus r. And once we do the difference of this, we are going to get t1. And when we do this particular summation, when we do this difference of this, we are going to get the terms in arithmetic progression, right? We are going to get this particular terms in arithmetic progression, right? And then this particular term will be left out, right? So this particular term will be arithmetic progression, and then we can simply solve for this to get the Sn, right? And when when n tending towards infinity, this particular term will vanish towards infinity. So what we can see that for n tending to infinity, it is more easier. It is more easier to solve, right? So if you try to see and then look into the problem over here, if you try to solve for the problem given over here, so similar manner, if you try to solve by taking 1 by 7 into s, right? And our s is basically given as 1 by 7, 5 plus alpha plus 1 by 7 square into 5 plus 2 alpha and so on. And similarly 1 by 7 into 5 plus alpha is going first term, that is 1 by 7 square into 5 plus alpha and so on, right? And if we take a difference of this, it is going to be 6 by 7 into s is going to be equal to 5 plus alpha by 7 plus 1 by 7 square into 5 plus into alpha, right? Into alpha over here, into alpha plus 1 by 7 cube into alpha and so on, right? And this is going to be an infinite geometric progression, right? Infinite geometric progression. So sum of the infinite geometric progression is basically simple. Sum of the infinite geometric progression is basically equal to a by 1 minus r, and it is only true when the absolute value of the geometric progression common ratio should be less than 1. So the common ratio should be less than 1, and you can see the common ratio is basically 1 by 7, which is less than 1, right? So therefore from this part you will have the relation as, so let me see if I'm doing correct or not. So yeah, so from this part uh, from this part you will have it as, so this particular part is, yeah, fine. So this particular part is going to be 5 plus alpha by 7, right? And this particular part is going to be alpha into 1 by, 1 upon 7 square by 1 minus 1 by 7. And ultimately from here you'll see the summation is going to be equal to, this particular summation should be equal to 2, right? This particular summation should be equal to 2. So if you just put s is equal to 2 and then solve for the alpha, you'll get the alpha value should be coming out as 6, right? You'll get an equation like this, that is 6 is equal to 5 plus alpha by 6, right? And from here this 5 and 6 is going to be 1, and this is how you get the value of alpha is equal to 6, right? So from this you will get the value of alpha is equal to 6. I hope this is correct, right? All right, what is the next live stream? The next live stream you are going to have is on chemical kinetics. Okay, please click on the bell icon. You will definitely have the concepts and the live streams information coming up. Okay, and we are also coming live on next class. We will be discussing about binomial theorem. We'll discuss our binomial theorem. Okay, so we are going part by part. Okay, we have already covered quadratic equation, We have discussing sequence series in this session, and in the next session we're going to discuss about binomial theorem. Okay, and with that we're going to proceed with the complex numbers, and then we're going to permutation combinations, and then we're going to discuss about matrix and determinant, and then we're going to discuss about the probability statistics, and we're going to finish the that's how we're going to finish the algebra portion. Okay, I do hope this is correct. This is clear to all of you. All right, finish. So you can also invite your friends also with these sessions. Okay, if I have more students, I will also get more motivation to teach, right? And I will bring definitely more number of problems. Okay, because I see you are very competitive and your preparation are going good, I guess. How is the physics and chemistry going on, Vinesh? What's your primary target? Can you please let me know what's your primary target? JEE Mains or JEE Advance? All right. So we shall proceed with the next problem. So the next problem is a very interesting problem. Okay. And if you want to have one-to-one interaction, Vinesh, you can always go to the description box and check out the and contact on the given contact number. Okay. Okay. And if you have any personalized questions and you want to have some doubts, you can definitely ask with these questions. Okay. All right. That's very good to hear that your target is IIT Delhi. Very good. Very good, Dinesh. Okay. And I will be here to help you out with your dream come true, right? Even if you have any personalized doubts and you want to get a personalized clearance of the doubts, you can definitely contact on the number that is mentioned in the description box. Okay. So you can always contact on the number and you can get your doubts cleared, right? Please go to the description box. Okay. Please go to the description box. You will find the contact number. Okay. So there is a mention for one-to-one online our group tuitions. You can always contact the given number. Also in the comment section, you will find that contact numbers as well, right? And don't forget to join the Telegram channel. Okay. Don't forget to join the Telegram channel. You will also I will be posting the upcoming notifications of the contents as well as many short notes also. Okay. Short notes are going to be very, very important. Now, one thing if I have to tell you that what helped me crack the IIT JEE examination is that short notes. Okay. Because the day before the exam, you are not going to revise the entire chapter, right? So if you just prepare the short notes, well, then the day before the exam, if you just only revise the short notes, that will actually help you to get or the entire chapter, or this will help you to revise the entire chapter in a one go, right? So please make sure that you make short notes. Okay. Take a A4 sheet, write the name of the chapter, and go on writing the entire chapter, whatever you have covered, whatever the important properties, whatever the important formulas have you understood or gone through the chapter, right? And that will make up the short notes. Okay. And also, I will be sending you my personal short notes, which I use for my preparation in during my JEE times. Okay. So I will be sharing you those personal short notes as well. Okay. So for that, you have to join the Telegram channel. Yeah. So my advanced rank was somewhere around, as far as I remember, is something around like within 3K to 4K. Okay. General rank. Okay. I was a KVPY scholar with all India rank 627, that I can remember clearly because I have a certificate of that. Okay. And my mains rank was somewhere around 3000. Okay. I chose IIT Kharagpur because it is near to my home. Okay. All right. So I'm a pre-final student from IIT Kharagpur only. Okay. And if you have any doubts regarding how to clear IIT and want to get personalized content, you can always contact this undersigned number. Okay. And you can also join the Telegram channel for more personalized doubt clearance also. All right, Vinesh. So let's start with the next problem then. Please try to solve this, Vinesh. Please try to solve this, Vinesh. All right. So I hope you are solving this question. So let me tell you how will you proceed with this question. So the question, so in order to understand this question, let us try to see. So the given summation Sn. So given summation Sn is given as 1 by 2 plus 1 by 6 plus 1 by 12 plus 1 by 20 and so on up to n terms. And so on up to n terms, right? right? So then it is said that the sum of the first six terms of an AP, the sum of the first six term of an AP with first term P and the common difference P is given as square root of 2026 S of 2025, right? So it is a very interesting problem. It is giving you a general sequence and then you are saying about the geometry arithmetic progression, right? So let us try to understand how we try to decompose this particular series which is given to us, right? So if you just look into this particular series, so S of we have to find for S of 2025, right? So S of 2025 is basically nothing but summation of n going from 1 to 2025, right? And if you try to decompose what is this series, what you will find out is that it is nothing but the sum of the two consecutive terms. That is, this is basically 1 into 2, this is going to be 2 into 3, this is going to be 3 into 4, this is going to be 4 into 5. So it is also a product of the consecutive natural numbers, right? Product of the consecutive natural number, which I can always write it as 1 upon n into n plus 1, right? And if you recall the second question that we solved, we had a question that is 1 upon n plus 3 into 1 upon n plus 2, right? That was the question, right? So similarly, this type of question we can simply solve it by taking the sum of a difference of the consecutive terms, right? And we try to express this question in terms of a telescoping series. I said that that is going to be very important, so you can see that this question has already been asked. Okay, so for this you will have this part simplified and written like this. So this part you can write it as 1 upon n minus 1 upon n plus 1, right? This expression is going to be simplified as this one you can write it as n plus 1 minus n, which we can simplify and decompose at 1 by n minus 1 upon n plus 1 and summation n going from 1 to 2025, right? So which this, if you just try to put n is equal to 1, you will get, if you put n is equal to 1, you will get 1 upon 1 minus 1 upon 2 plus 1 upon 2 minus 1 upon 3, and this is how you're going to proceed with 1 upon 2025 minus 1 upon 2026, right? So with this you will have the answer. This 1 upon minus 1 by 2 and plus 1 by 2 get cancelled out. This part will cancel out with this part. So what you can see is the cutting fashion is similar, right? The cancellation fashion is similar, and we will have our answer for this particular problem as 1 minus 1 upon 2026, that is going to 2025 divided by 2026, right? So our summation of the 2025 terms is going to be 2025 divided by 2026, right? And therefore the sum of the first six terms of an AP whose first term is m and the common difference is also m is given as, so sum of the first six terms is given as 2026 into 2025 divided by 2026 whole square root of that, and that is going to be equal to square root of 2025, right? That is going to be equal to square root of 2025. Now square root of 2025 is equal to, yes, very good, very good, n plus 1 minus n, very good, very good, Vn method, exactly. So with this we'll have the sum of the six terms of this AP. Now this is for the AP, okay? This for the AP, it is going to be square root of 2025, right? And the, is it fine now? All right, so I just lost my connection. No issue, some laptop issue was there. Okay, Vinesh, is it live now? Please let me know if it is clear. Am I audible now? Lost my connection. All right, so I'm back. So yeah, so we were having this answer as, so I was having the sum of the six terms for the AP coming out as 45, right? So what is the sum of the six terms of AP with the first term P and the common difference P? So it is basically P plus 2P plus 5 times of P multiplied with 3 is basically 45, right? So from here you will have 7 times of P is equal to 15. So ultimately you are going to have P as 15 upon 7, right? So you are going to have P as, sorry, extremely sorry. So, oh sorry, the first term is basically minus of P, right? So it is going to be minus of P over here, right? Minus of 2P, right? And similarly the common difference is P. So that is what we have is basically 3P is equal to 15. So P is equal to 5. So we'll have P is equal to 5. Okay, so P is going to have it as 5, right? So P is going to be 5 over here, right? Now once we have P, then we have to find for the absolute difference of the 20th term and the 15th term, right? So the difference is going to be simply as a, so 20th term is going to be minus 5 plus 19 into 5 minus absolute difference. Okay, so we just need to find that absolute difference. So minus 5 into 14 times 5, and then absolute difference, which is going to come out as 90 minus 65. Mod of that is going to be equal to 25. 25, right? So with this, we will have option number D as my correct answer. Option number D is going to be the correct answer. Okay, is it clear, Vinesh? I hope is it clear for everyone, right? So with this, we have completed discussing about the top important JEE Mains previous year questions, right? So I hope this part is clear to all of you, right? So this session was fruitful enough for everyone. So we tried to discuss about the important JEE Mains previous year questions on the sequence series part, right? Now I had some of the important properties over here. Now this PPT I will send it, or the PDF of this particular notes of the students class I'll send in the Telegram channel. Okay, so please make sure that you join the Telegram channel. Okay, and we'll basically connect on the Telegram channel as well, right? So if you have any questions, if you have any doubt, you can always ask in the comment section of this particular video as well as in the Telegram channel itself. Okay, so with this, I hope you got something from this session. So with this, let us end our session over here. Thank you. And please make sure that you try to make short notes. Okay, that will be very useful for all of you. All right, so let us end our session over